Cast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. I want to thank you for attending today's third Thursday training. We are really fortunate today. We have David Finneran of the Maryland Home Improvement Commission with us. I want to thank everyone who's on the line, and I also want to mention that there is preliminarily, I want to mention that there is a handout that's in the slides that are in the chat box, or that are in the box under handouts. You can download the slides. Additionally, I want to encourage you to use the chat function on the webinar so that you can type out any questions. Type them out as we go along. I will let David know we've got a question, and we'll take them as we go. I also want to say, certainly follow us on social media, and I'm going to talk at the end of the webinar, I'm going to talk about some of our upcoming trainings and some other things that are fun. But if you follow us on any of those social medias, you'll get, obviously, notifications about upcoming fun trainings. So with that, I'm going to introduce Dave Finneran, who is the Executive Director of the Maryland Home Improvement Commission. He has a staff of 20, and that includes 9 investigators who serve the entire state of Maryland. He spent 37 years as a licensed home improvement contractor before joining the Maryland Home Improvement Commission, who he's been with for 4.5 years. He has experience in residential construction. Also, he was a certified appraiser and a real estate salesperson as well. And the Maryland Home Improvement Commission gets approximately 2,000 complaints a year that David is in charge of overseeing all of that. So with that, I'm going to let David take it from here and tell you all about the Maryland Home Improvement Commission and some of the fun things that might be useful to know.
Thank you, Amy. And I want to thank the Maryland Volunteer Lawyers Service and the viewers for tuning in. So the Home Improvement Commission, we're certainly here to help. We're here to serve the citizens of Maryland. We license contractors. We take complaints. So we really have two sides to our commission. We have approximately 33,000 licensed contractors and about 3,000 licensed salespeople, and we service the whole state of Maryland. Home improvement is clearly defined as a restoration, repair, replacement of items that you work on in your residential home. It doesn't include home building. It doesn't include commercial. It does not include agricultural. It does not include marine contracting is a new license issued by the DNR. So that's license work that's done near the water, ripraps, pier stocks, and those sorts of items do not fall under home improvement. But we do license contractors that would commonly come to someone's home, the roofers, the contractors, any kind of remodeling, that kind of thing. Now that we have homeowners now, we're encouraging homeowners to come in and call us before they start a project so that they can find out if the contractor's truly licensed. Certainly, unlicensed contractors are a big problem in Maryland. So we're encouraging, we do a lot of outreach. Anyone in our staff could take a phone call from a homeowner, look up a complaint history of a contractor, tell them if they're properly licensed, if they have insurance, and what their complaint history is. We also encourage homeowners to get estimates, do their due diligence to make sure that they're hiring a contractor that's suitable for the job that they want to have done. If they have a project that is a tile project or a flooring project, they want to make sure a contractor is skilled in those levels. Our license is broad, so it actually allows a contractor to do anything from hang a shelf to build a $600,000 addition or more. So we encourage homeowners to do their homework, check references and that sort of thing. So our commission, we license contractors, but we also take complaints from homeowners. These complaints will be unworkmanlike unsatisfactory, incomplete, or abandoned home improvement work. So the work is not finished, incomplete. If it's not up to the standards of the industry, we encourage a homeowner to file a complaint with us. We'll take complaints in, and if the complaint is valid and we find it has merit, there's a guarantee fund that will pay them back up to $20,000 to get the project done, either $20,000 or the amount limited to the amount that they've paid in so far to the contractor to get the job completed in a workmanlike manner. So do you want to give me the next slide?
Yeah.
This next slide is showing some useful links. We have links to licensing. The two categories, the licensed contractor or the licensed salesperson, you can check on their license. It'll also tell you how long they've been in business. There's a link there. The second link is going to show you how to obtain a license. If a contractor wants to become a licensed home improvement contractor in the state, they could click that link and we'll certainly help them through that as well. You could also call our office and if you see in the third bullet point here, there's also a licensing workshop that contractor or prospective candidates or applicants would come to that workshop, and we'll walk them through the process needed to obtain a license. We have about 12 different requirements to obtain a license, including conduct questions and things of that nature. So it's a little bit involved to become a contractor. And I know the local community colleges also will give some course prep in the license exam as well. Tips for finding a contractor. We're going to go right down the bullet points here. We're going to want you to hire a licensed contractor. The benefit to hiring a licensed contractor is that if a homeowner uses a licensed contractor, they have access to that guarantee fund that I spoke of. So they have access to possibly having their money, receiving a monetary award if they find that their licensed contractor did unsatisfactory, incomplete, or abandoned home improvement work. So if you hire an unlicensed contractor, you have none of those benefits. We always ask the homeowners to try to get 3 bids. Be careful of those door-to-door salespeople, the ones that come to your house and say they have extra material and they want to sell it to you cheap. Often they're unlicensed. Request references from the prospective contractor, check them out. You often get references from family and friends. Get a copy of the contractor's liability certificate. We actually have a copy of that on file. So if someone called our office, they would be able to have the liability insurance certificate sent to them before they start the job. We always want to encourage a written contract. You'll be surprised how many contracts or complaints we get where it was just a handshake and cash was paid to an unlicensed contractor. Maryland law requires no more than 1/3 of the contract price can be paid as a down payment. They can't receive more than 1/3 at this point. And there is a cancellation period. Right now, the cancellation period for home improvement is 5 days. 5 days after you've signed the contract, you have a right to cancel, or 7 days if you're 65 years or older. So we want to make them aware of a cancellation period. And if a building permit is needed, it is the contractor's responsibility to see that the building permit is on the job. It's not necessarily the contractor's requirement that the contractor pulls the permit. An architect or the homeowner has a right to pull the permit as well. But if there is a permit needed, the contractor has to make sure that it is on the job. And if the contractor is working on a house that may have lead paint, the contractor must have lead paint certification from the Maryland Department of Environment. And you can check with the Maryland Department of Environment to see if your contractor is accredited to do lead paint removal.
David, I want to share something that came up when we were preparing for this, which was that if you get a written estimate or a contract from a contractor and it doesn't have their MHIC number on it, that is a bad sign. And I'll mention that this was a contract for roofing work that I had gotten, and we were talking about it, and I was like, oh, This is indeed a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, our law requires that any advertising, the MHIC number that we issue should be on any contract, any advertising, and any truck that pulls on the property that has the contractor in it, the contractor's using, the truck should be labeled, but it should also have the MHIC number on it as well. And that way it gives the homeowner the opportunity to call us and confirm that the number is the history of that contractor. Certainly the MHIC, the Home Improvement Commission, is a big part of some disasters that may occur in Maryland. Recent floods in Catonsville, Ellicott City, and Baltimore City. We took a lead role and brought in a table to homeowners. They're at a low point. They've just experienced a disaster. They've had problems with their house. Now they want to get it cleaned up, and they want to have a contractor come in and start doing repairs. Well, the demolition and cleanup is unregulated in Maryland and is not considered a home improvement. But when you start putting things back together, the contractor will need to be a licensed home improvement contractor. So these recent floods, we set up shop, we open up a laptop, and we'll take questions from homeowners about contractors that they are considering and give them as much information as we can. We can't recommend contractors, but we do give you as much information as we do have on file about their complaint and license history. Plumbers, HVAC contractors, locksmiths, master electricians all have their own licensing with different boards in the Department of Labor Division of Occupational and Professional Licensing. So you can also check with those boards to determine the complaint history and the licensing status of those particular contractors. When they are hired under a home improvement contractor, if a home improvement contractor in your contract, you're having a kitchen done or a garage built, something, and you need to hire an electrician, plumber, HVAC contractor, that'll be part of the contract. The home improvement contractor is responsible for hiring a plumber or HVAC contractor or a electrician that is licensed, and that person also will have to get permits that are needed for the job. If a homeowner hires an electrician or a plumber or HVAC contractor on their own, and they certainly have the right to, they should check with those boards to see if they're properly licensed. When disasters occur, there's also insurance companies that get involved. So when a home improvement contractor does not have the right to negotiate with your insurance company, there's a separate licensing agency from the Maryland Insurance Administration called Public Adjusters. So Maryland Public Adjusters are licensed by the Maryland Insurance Administration. And again, they should be contacted to make sure you're working with a licensed individual. All right, next slide. All right, so unlicensed contractors, here's the big problem. We have a large unlicensed contractor population in Maryland, and we're doing our best to address that. We need the participation from everyone in the state to address this problem. Unlicensed contractors prey on elderly. They take deposits, do no work. There's some that follow through, but it's certainly going to be a situation that puts the homeowner in jeopardy because an unlicensed contractor, there is that guarantee fund that I explained earlier. There is no access to the guarantee fund for a monetary award if you use an unlicensed contractor. If he or she abandons the work or does unsatisfactory work, civil courts are really going to be one of the only options to try to recover funds from an unlicensed contractor. Just going down through some of the bullet points. Certainly they advertise. We see them on Facebook or some of the new social media, Angie's List, things of that nature. The unlicensed contractor will pop up, and anyone can file a complaint against an unlicensed contractor. We take anonymous complaints against unlicensed contractors. We try to build up a database of unlicensed contractors and get a history of unlicensed contractors. There's quite a few repeat offenders out there, so that's always a problem. So if you file a complaint against an unlicensed contractor, we have two paths. If there is I think the next the screen might explain some of this better. If you file a complaint against an unlicensed contractor, no, I was incorrect. So if you file a complaint on licensed contractor, there's a 1-year statute of limitations from the date the contractor was last on your job. So we have a short time frame. We need a complaint to come in. If you've had personal harm or if the homeowner has had harm done to them by the contractor, our approach is to take them to criminal court. If we can assemble enough evidence to take it to the court commissioner and have the state's attorney take that before a judge in criminal court. What I mean is that we usually need a willing witness. We need a homeowner that's been harmed, that's willing to come to court to testify against the contractor, identify the contractor, and present us with some kind of, was their work done, was there a contract invoice, photos, anything that would build a big enough case that we can take to criminal court. They are facing jail time. They are facing stiff fines. We have sent many contractors to jail. Repeat offenders, there's enhanced penalties. So we would like to see participation from homeowners. The other issue we have with licensed contractors is just simply they're advertising out there and advertising for home improvement work. And you'll see that quite often on Facebook and just on their trucks, things of that nature. So the money mailers, all kinds of flyers, door-to-door hangers, door-to-door salesmen. We would like the public, we would like other licensed contractors to participate with us to file those complaints against those contractors. If we have a long history with these contractors, we'll often take them to court for that, but the more likely path would be for us to issue a warning. If it's someone we haven't heard of before, we don't find any harm to the public yet that we can put our finger on, we'll issue them a warning right away and issue them the documents that would explain and the instructions to get them licensed to become a licensed contractor. So it's important to get all these folks on board. All right. Filing a complaint. So we receive about 2,000 complaints, as Amy said, from homeowners every year. Mostly against licensed contractors, and we will take those complaints, and when we get a complaint in, we issue a order of the commission. We mail out an order to the licensed contractor, and we order them to respond within 30 days, and we need the response to determine, first off, if we have the right contractor. The homeowners sometimes get confused, things of that nature, but the complaint is the homeowner side of the story. The response is the contractor side of the story. We get those two together, and then it'll be issued. Once we get that response in, we assign it to an investigator. My staff investigator will take it and try to work out mediation. Now, mediation can be from, certainly mediation can happen anywhere along the line. If we get a complaint that comes in right away and the homeowner specifically says, I want to attend mediation, before it even gets assigned to an investigator, the contractor can be contacted, and it's voluntary. So we see if both parties are wish to attend mediation. Even farther down the line, when the investigator has it, the investigator can promote mediation. And we go through different services. The Community Mediation of Maryland, as you see on the screen, is certainly our biggest venue to send those mediation complaints, but certainly the Better Business Bureau or the Attorney General's office will take those as well. So we try to get that mediation done. That's certainly our best. If everybody's talking and we get a resolved complaint, that's our best resolution. Contracts can also have a binding arbitration clause in there. It's certainly common enough that we get, when we see a binding arbitration, or we see an arbitration clause at all in a contract, a home improvement contract, we send it up to the Assistant Attorney General for review. And if they determine the arbitration is binding, we're forced now at this point to take that contract, let the homeowner know that arbitration will need to be enacted before the complaint can go any further. It can't go to a claim. We can't pay out a monetary award until the arbitration award is complete. And so we take the homeowner. They try to go forward with the arbitration, and if the homeowner is successful in arbitration, we can take that award and we can actually pay off a guarantee fund award based on what the arbitration award is, the issue of the arbitration award.
David, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
fine.
do you have any idea of approximately how many contracts a year maybe you have to set up that are binding arbitration, and also potentially how many then later claims that you get on the guarantee fund that are, come out of binding arbitration?
Well, it's certainly at least it's something over 10% would be a fairly accurate number of the number of contracts we read that have a arbitration clause in it. When they actually go through arbitration, that's a lower number because it's a pretty. I mean, there's a few more steps that need to be taken in order to enact arbitration. The homeowner has to file for arbitration. The contractor has to respond to that filing, or if the contractor doesn't respond at all, arbitration can occur with just the homeowner going through without the respondent party even showing up. But then, so after you get an arbitration award, the arbitration award needs to specifically specify home improvement, unsatisfactory, incomplete, or abandoned home improvement work. We don't pay out on consequential damage. We don't pay out for punitive. We don't pay out lawyers' fees. We pay out, our law specifically pays out for incomplete, abandoned, or unsatisfactory home improvement work. So an arbitration clause, an arbitration award needs to specify that. And if it doesn't, we can't pay out on it. It either needs to go back to arbitration or they're going to need to go to civil court at that point. So it's a small percentage that get a small percentage on that. All right, so filing a complaint against a licensed contractor. The contractor has 30 days to respond. The responses are given to the investigator, and the investigator really is not someone. It's not an expert in the home improvement industry. Investigator is someone who is gathering documents, trying to determine if this complaint has merit. Investigator can determine that it doesn't even fall under the jurisdiction of the Home Improvement Commission. It's a complaint that the residence was out of state. If it was a Virginia home or something like that, it would fall out if it was not home improvement related at all. If it was demolition, things like that, they would dismiss the case pretty quickly. So the investigator gathers all the documents from both the complainant and the respondent, puts those together, and determine if it is under our jurisdiction, ask the homeowner at that point to file a claim. So we have the complaint process is complete with the investigation. Now we're going to move forward to the claim process, where we're actually trying to determine if there's a monetary award that we can issue the homeowner. So the investigators gone that far. They've determined there's some merit here. They are going to go ahead and send a claim form to the homeowner, and the homeowner now will try to determine actual loss. They determine actual loss by using an expert in the industry to give them an estimate to complete their contract. An expert in the industry would be a licensed home improvement contractor, a licensed home inspector, a licensed architect, licensed engineer, someone of that nature. And you see I use the word licensed. We need a licensed individual to become the expert in the industry to give us a invoice, a proposal, an estimate, something that says what the actual loss, what the actual amount of money it would take to complete that contract. So that the homeowner will submit a claim form to us. Once we get a completed claim form, it is sent to a hearing. We actually use the Office of Administrative Hearings to conduct our hearings. The hearing will go before an administrative law judge, and the administrative law judge will issue a recommended decision on whether the claim is either dismissed or it's given a monetary value of what the ALJ thought that the amount that they thought the homeowner has suffered, the actual loss that the homeowner suffered. When we get that, and it's starting to go towards the hearing process, we get the claim form in, it's submitted, reviewed, and we're ready to send it to the Office of Administrative Hearings. We send it over there, and they have a docket secretary. The docket secretary will set a hearing date, usually within a 90-day period, for an ALJ to sit before an ALJ or have a hearing before an ALJ. After the ALJ conducts the hearing, there's another 90-day period where the ALJ can issue their recommended decision. So that's half a year right there just at OAH. So this is a lengthy process. It can be, I mean, by the time you submit your complaint to the time you get an actual check from the comptroller's office, could be as long as a year or even longer if there's appeals periods. So we get our recommended order back from the ALJ. It comes to the commission. We've presented to a panel of commissioners. We have 9 home improvement MHIC commissioners. Of those 9, we take a panel of 3, and the panel of 3 will review the recommended decision and issue a proposed order. The proposed order will become final after 52 days. If the appeals period is 52 days, if it's not appealed by the contractor at that point, the contractor can appeal it to an exceptions hearing. An exceptions hearing would be a hearing before a panel of commissioners. The exceptions hearing is intended not to bring in new evidence. If the evidence was already presented in front of the ALJ, it's just to argue whether, other exceptions or other reasons that the contractor or homeowner may think the issue was incorrect. The exception can be filed by either the homeowner or the contractor. The panel of commissioners will then, they can amend that recommended decision. They can dismiss the recommended decision. They can, or accept the recommended decision. So, and then it becomes a proposed order. And then again, it's got to go through that. Proposed order can become a final order in 52 days if it's not appealed to circuit court at that point. I think that's it for that particular slide. Pays, claims. So we have a guarantee fund. It's a very healthy fund. It's there. It's a guarantee fund is funded by licensed contractors. Licensed contractors pay a $100 fee as a new original contractor. And every 2 years they renew, and at every 2-year renewal period, they pay a $120 fee into the guarantee fund. It's very healthy. We pay claims out after the final order. All the appeals periods have been exhausted. We issue an order for or we issue an invoice to the comptroller's office, and they'll cut a check in about 6 weeks. So again, adding to more time to get a check. Now, our guarantee fund is capped at $20,000 per contractor. So if you have a homeowner has a contract with a contractor and the unsatisfactory and incomplete work amounts to more than $20,000, we are capped at that $20,000 rate, or the total amount the homeowner has paid the contractor so far. So whichever is less. So if the homeowner's only paid $17,000 of a $60,000 contract, for example, the total amount that we can pay out is 17. So, and then it's further capped. Each contractor is limited to a total claims of $100,000 per contractor. So we can have a larger pool of homeowners. Say I had, just to give you a quick example, 20 homeowners that had $10,000 claims each, and they were completely adjudicated and awarded. We would hold back paying any of those homeowners because that would likely and did exceed the $100,000 cap. That's a $200,000 cap or $200,000 in monetary awards. We can only pay 50% to each one of those homeowners. So we do have to prorate those if it gets beyond that $100,000 limit. We do conduct a guarantee fund workshop. It's conducted by the Assistant Attorney General, and it is for homeowners and contractors. It's conducted in our building over at 500 North Calvert Street, and it is conducted once a month and is well attended, and it gives some very insightful information to how to go through the process and the whole claim process. So that would be worthwhile attending. I did kind of glossed over the complaint process, the claim process. We have what's called a small claim. We have a limited small claim. If your claim, a homeowner's claim, is $7,500 or less, it's considered a small claim. And if the contractor doesn't dispute it or doesn't respond at all, we can make that payment very quickly out to the homeowner, this $7,500 or less claim. But if the contractor says, no, I want a hearing, we have to send it to OAH, and it has to take the longer route. And that's the claim process.
Okay. I want to flag on something that you had mentioned earlier about the about binding arbitration, and that the importance that the order from the arbitrator say that it is specifically for unsatisfactory, incomplete, or abandoned by a licensed home improvement contractor work, and that it's specifically call out this is the total amount for that, and that if there be other amounts that are awarded for, say, attorney's fees or something else.
Consequential damage, the contractor ran over my light pole when he was on the job, things of that nature, we don't pay out on. It's not written into our law.
Yeah, and so if that's the case for arbitration, is that also the case if somebody decides that they want to file a suit first, lawsuit first? Does that also need to be in the judge's order in order for that person to get a payout from the guarantee fund? It
does. And we have to determine that in some manner, they don't have to use the exact words, but in some manner, it has to show that this was for home improvement work or for completing the contract, things of that nature. So that's an important language in any order that we receive. Yeah. Okay. Any ruling, any court ruling.
Yeah. So you had also mentioned that there is a 1-year period for an unlicensed contract for a homeowner to file a complaint with you all about an unlicensed contractor. What about for a licensed contractor?
So claims against licensed contractors, the complaint needs to come in within 3 years of the last time the contractor was on the job. Well, or with due diligence, the homeowner could have known that there was a problem with the work that the contractor did. Let me explain. So let me give you an example. That'll be the easiest way. If a roofing project was completed by the contractor, a patch roof, a new roof, whatever it was, and it has an internal leak, and it doesn't show itself, it doesn't come through the drywall until a big storm 2 years later, or there was a small leak, and it doesn't show itself. It wasn't obvious. We will still take that complaint from the date that the homeowner should have known. So there's an obvious leak now, the ceiling's starting to come down, or giant water stain. We will extend it to that point. So even 2, 5, 7 years later, if the roof was poor workmanship, it wasn't done to the standards of the industry, we will take that complaint and then extend that 3-year period from them. But in general, we have a 3-year window where we can take that claim against a licensed contractor. But that also applies to the claim. So the claim cannot be paid out. You cannot receive a monetary award if the claim isn't received within that 3-year period. So there's often, if we're pushed right up against that window, that complaint and that claim can come in at the same time, and we can get that under that 3-year window that we have. So
it's really helpful. Yeah. So can you tell me kind of what things make a homeowner, like what evidence, what makes a homeowner successful in working with your office and demonstrating their case that their that there was poor workmanship done?
Well, certainly we need the expert. You get another contractor to come in and give you an estimate and say, oh no, this wasn't done up to the standards of the industry. You can also use manufacturer specifications to determine if it was done up to the standard of the industry, if the nailing pattern was correct for the roofing shingles or the flooring or whatever was put down. That's important to us. What was the question again? Because I had another.
What makes, like, what evidence or what makes homeowners successful?
Yeah, but a homeowner has to, when they're preparing for a hearing, they have to look like they've made every effort. They want to be the good person. They want to be the person that made every effort with that contractor to try to get that contractor back to complete that job. This is licensed contractors now, and you're going to be well prepared. You've gone in and you've got your estimates. You have photos. The burden of proof at a hearing is on the homeowner, so you have to present your evidence and in a manner that's going to prove your point. Remember, the judge is impartial, so the contractor is going to defend his position. That's the best advice I can give.
Yeah. I think when we were preparing for this, we were talking a little bit about the times that you get called to testify.
Sure.
Both in criminal complaints and then in civil complaints. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, myself, I'm the custodian of the records, so that's a title that I carry. So the records of the Home Improvement Commission are important records when we take criminal cases to court. We're going to provide documentation. We're also swearing as witnesses. Myself and or any of the investigators will attend criminal trials, and we're just simply there as custodian of the records. We're there to swear and attest that the criminal has never or did not hold a license with the home improvement contractor or was not licensed at the time to be doing the work that they were doing, the home improvement work that they were doing. So we'll often attend court. We're in court, I would say 3 to 4 times a day in different jurisdictions around the state to address unlicensed work. Civil cases, we aren't experts in the industry. A judge will quickly determine whether we are or we aren't, but they'll put us on the stand and we can testify to the records or to what information was gathered, but we can't testify to the workmanship. So in civil cases, we're there in a little more limited role.
Okay. We did get one question we got a question that came in that asked if there was a statute of limitations that may limit the time a claim can be considered by the commission. So I guess we talked about when a claim could be filed,
right?
Which is the 3-year period, but that I guess if it limits the time that a claim could be considered, you were talking.
No. I think I understand the question. No, a claim, once it's submitted, the clock has stopped. We have accepted the claim, and we can sit on that claim for a variety of reasons until it's fully adjudicated. But there is no limit once that claim is submitted to get it to a hearing or to fully adjudicate that claim. So no.
But you did mention that there was the sort of
to get the claim.
Yeah, like there's a 30-day window to kind of get it to the investigator, or for the contractor to respond, and then there's this sort of period for the investigator to look at things, and then once it gets sent to the ALJ, it's a kind of 90-day window for the hearing, and then another 90-day window for
the ALJ's decision.
Yeah, but otherwise not necessarily anything in there.
No, and the claim could come in, but it also could be amended. So we want to get that claim in because we want to stop that clock. But a claim could be amended up to the point of the hearing. So a claim, if you find that amount that you have is just not satisfactory, you can go ahead and have another contractor come in and amend that claim number. It's probably wise to get more than one licensed contractor, architect, engineer, whoever, to give you an estimate to complete so that you do have the data you need to receive the monetary award you're after.
So just for fun, What's a case maybe recently that you were like the most proud of, or like the happiest with the result, or something like that?
Well, I mean, certainly there's a lot of, I mean, getting a hardened criminal off the streets is pretty important, and a lot of them prey on elderly, and the problem we have on that side is that the elderly are more likely not to submit a complaint. They're more likely they're embarrassed. They don't even want to tell their children. We have a problem getting their cases in here. So we have a paver who's recently given us a lot of trouble, just going to elderly, convincing them to write a check right there at the door, driving them to an ATM so they'll make withdrawals for cash withdrawals, things of that nature. And we just got one, just finally got a 5-year sentence on a recent paver that was, but it took multiple times. And,
Yeah.
We need the participation of everybody, the state's attorney's office, the homeowner, the citizens, the public, everybody has to coordinate, collaborate together to get some of these hardened criminals off the street.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that certainly fits with what we see in other areas about older adults not wanting to file complaints when
we have that same problem.
Yeah.
And I'll attend senior centers, and I'll actually talk at senior centers, and I can ask them, how many have you had a home improvement work done? Their hands go up. How many of you had problems with the home improvement work? And almost all their hands go right back up.
Yeah.
And I want all of them to see me after the show, because they don't they don't want to come forward. And it's tough. It's tough to get them to come forward. And that's the easy prey for some of these guys.
Yeah. What would you say is the biggest misconception about what your office does?
Well, certainly, I mean, this is going to hurt a little bit, because when I walked into that office, it certainly was the attitude that the homeowner was always right. And, this is, I'm coming from a contractor's point of view. There are contractors out there that are put in bad situations by homeowners. And there are, believe it or not, homeowners that prey on contractors and intentionally hire unlicensed contractors and will get us into trouble because they know that they don't have to pay the unlicensed contractor. And, that's a problem. House flipping now is taken off. There's a large house flipping community out there right now. Our laws are probably not written to address house flipping properly. This is a pretty new problem for us. Real estate's trying to deal with it as well. They're flipping real estate and selling homeowners properties that aren't properly improved, not done up to the standards of the industry. And we're trying to address that. We're working with our legislators to try to address house flipping as a problem in general too. So that's some of the areas we're working on.
I don't see any more questions that have come in. If anyone has anything that they think of after this presentation, they're welcome to reach out to MVLS, and we will put you in contact with David or attempt to address your questions. David, I want to thank you so much for your presentation today. This has been really informative for me. I hope it's been informative for the viewers. I want to call out on our website, if you are looking for this, since this is recorded, what we're going to do is we're going to post it to our website under attorney resources. And so you can see on the screen, it's under volunteer, there's attorney resources. And I also want to flag our pro bono portal. So when you're thinking, gosh, I really appreciate MVLS putting together this webinar for me, I'd really like to thank them by taking a case. You can go to our pro bono portal and sort by case type, by county, and find the kind of case that you're looking for. We got one more question in. So the question we received is, can sales representatives sign contracts on behalf of contractors? So we talked a bit about how both it's contractors and sales reps that you license. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
So a licensed home improvement salesman or salesperson may negotiate or sign a contract on site, in the office, at shows, wherever. A contractor, a licensed contractor, is actually a contractor slash salesman. A contractor can negotiate or sell, but they can also perform or hire people to perform the home improvement work. So a contractor can do it all, but a salesperson is limited to sales and negotiation.
But they can bind the contractor to.
They do. The contractor actually has 10 days to accept or deny a salesperson's contract.
Okay.
If they take no action, it's after 10 days it becomes binding.
Okay. But obviously, if they start doing the work, then they
yeah. Well, they have to wait out that 5-day waiting or 7-day if they're 65 or older.
All right. That is certainly some useful information. So the other thing that I want to call out is that we have a number of other trainings that we're going to have coming up. Tomorrow, we're having a training on vacatur. And then in September, we've got a training on the intersection of human trafficking and immigration. We're going to be on the September 19th, we're going to have a training on changes in the law that happened in the legislature this year. A couple of different effective dates on some of those laws, July 1, October 1, and I think some that are coming effective in January 1, but most of them become effective October 1, so this is going to be timely for that. And then we're going to have a real fun training about building a case with discovery and evidence in district court. You will, some of those are not yet up on our events page, but you will find them very soon on our mblslaw.org/events page, and you can sign up there. And I do want to call out again that if you're looking for this presentation, it's under handouts. You can download the PDF of this presentation. All the links are live in there if you want to be able to pull up doing that license search or figuring out how to help people get a license or anything else. With that, I want to just thank David so much for coming by and helping us with this.
Well, you're welcome, Amy. I appreciate it, and thanks for to MBLS and all the viewers as well. So please contact us if you need anything. We're here to help.
We got one more question. Oh, it's just a thank you. All right. Well, thank you too. Thank you for watching. All right. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day and a great, end of summer. All right. Thanks so much.